Okay, so now here's the cover, and there's something very interesting for you to know. Okay, and I can see this one was the one that's broken, and you can put your mounting screws up first. Then you use the bigger holes to fit right over the screw, okay, when you're up there. And see, there's bigger one here, and you might think, okay, it's for 2 different size boxes. No, it's for 3 different size boxes, because this one here, if you slide it this way, you're going to attach to these 2 screws. If you slide it this way, you're going to attach to these 2 screws. These 2 screws are different measurement apart than those. And same with that. Now this one is the one that's broken. And see, it kind of snapped off towards the back. And I'm gonna think about seeing if I can get if I have some sort of washer to put on here on the screw head, let's say, and see if I can make that better. And it's pushed up a little bit higher than flush, and usually I'll just use 1 1/4 drywall screws because the threads work good into that plastic. But I got some 1 5/8 drywall screws, and I might end up using those because they're a little bit longer. Now these little short ones would work, but I'm barely going to get it up there. And I'm not going to concern myself too much. I think I'll use the 1 5/8 though, but I'm not going to concern myself too much as long as I get this pretty good. This is just the mounting bracket, okay, and then it'll fit on there. I'm gonna be replacing these. These smoke alarms were called 10-year lithium battery backup, and I got those. And let's see what the date was that I installed it. October 30, 2018. So in a sense, these are good for another 4 years. Okay? And sometimes they last 10 years. Sometimes they might only last they might only last 9 years. Okay, so, and sometimes you can look on the back and see how old they are. And this one, I happen to see a number, it says 2018, but that's when I installed it, 2018. Okay, so yeah, okay, sorry about that. Date of install 10/30/18, and then replaced by October 2028. Now I put that, sometimes they don't have that, sometimes they only have date of install. If you put that on there and if you happen to forget, then you just look up there, okay, when do I need to replace those? Because these are designed to last for 10 years because they have a lithium battery backup that's included in here. You cannot replace it, and once it goes off, you have to replace it, and sometimes they last 10 years. I put one up for a friend of mine, and hers just went off, and she looked at it and it was 8.5 years old. And so it's like, hey, it's supposed to last for 10 years. Now, if you have your receipt and you know what store you bought it from, you can go back to the store and you can say, hey, it only lasted 8.5 years. They might give you a new one, or they might say, oh, you have to contact the company. Here's their address. Send your receipt. Explain to them what's going on, and you might get a new replaceable unit that way. You know, if it's 8.5 years, I wouldn't go through all that. I might just say, forget it, I'll just go buy a new one. Okay, now if you don't have this date, you can look on the inside, and that's what I was showing you. This says 2018 March 09, and see, they had it set on their shelf from March to October, because I didn't get it until October, and I installed it right after I got it. So there you go. You always look on the back and you'll see it, and then you'll be able to tell. Now, not all smoke alarms last for 10 years. You have to look at it and see. And if you have a battery one with 9-volt alkaline batteries, and you're like, I just replace the battery every year or once it starts chirping, and I've had it for 20 years. Well, you know what? Technically, I think the manufacturers say you have to replace your smoke alarm every 10 years. No ifs, ands, or buts. They're only designed to last 10 years, but if they last longer, and if you have a fire, and if for some reason something happens, somebody dies in the fire, they're sleeping and they get smoke in them, and when your insurance company comes out there, your insurance company may look at your smoke alarms and say, hey, you know what? These are outdated. And now we're not going to cover your fire, your house just burned down. We're not covering it. That is if they can find the smoke alarm, if it's not charred and beaten up and burned up in the process, or if they can't find any parts to it. They find the parts, they could probably tell which year it was built and stuff, and they might not cover your house. Okay? Now, I'm not 100% sure on that, and if you have a question, you can always contact a manufacturer, Kitty, a First Alert, wherever smoke alarms are. You can call their 800 number and you can ask them, hey, what if I have one of yours and it lasts 20 years? Is it still by law, and will my insurance company still cover it if I have a fire? And they're not going to come back to me and say, hey, your smoke alarm's outdated, or something like that. You could check on that, but that's been my theory on it is 10 years. And I read it somewhere where manufacturers say they're only designed for 10 years. Okay, so this particular one will last until it's supposed to last until 28, and we're towards the end of 24. And so it should last another good 3 years or 3.5 years from now. So, you know, I'll see what I can do about this mounting, little mounting bracket area right there. And here's another thing. If you have an old mounting bracket, and if you're replacing like for like, you could save a mounting bracket. Sometimes if the mounting bracket is the very same, I might just keep it and use it, but usually I'll say, nah, I'm going to put the brand new one up there. It came with the brand new one. I'm going to put the brand new one. And as for the little adapter, sometimes adapters are the very same, and you could use the same adapter. You could take everything, you could take the cover off, and if your adapter is the same, you might say, oh, I'm just going to use the same adapter. You could, but I would recommend replacing it. You never know, that adapter could be 25 years old. Why do I want to put that on a brand new smoke alarm? Go ahead and go the extra mile, put the new adapter up there. And like I say, not all adapters will fit like for like. So a few things to know about your smoke alarms. Okay, so that's pretty big. Now I'm not going to go to the store or anything. I'm going to Joe Guyver it. Okay, now I happen to have some little things I can use as a washer. Okay, see this little thing right here? That's the end off of an electrical outlet that I didn't use anymore. I cut the tabs off and I could use that as a washer, but that is too small to cover up that whole opening. Okay, so I can't use that. Now here's something else I have. I had a little plastic bracket. See, I always save stuff. I got a little plastic bracket like that. It's not really good for hardly anything. Underneath the house or something, that wouldn't be good for a finished application of anything, right? But I could cut that off and use that as a washer, have the plastic extend, or I could cut that end off way over there and have this whole thing, this whole flap go over that and cover it up that way. I could use that, but I think I'm gonna use something else. This happens to be the back of a doorstop, and it's an old one, and it's been in my nail bag and it's all messed up. And I can use that as the washer. See, my screw will go through there. And I'm gonna go out in the garage and just tap that down on concrete, and I can take my tin snips and cut off the excess or whatever. Make sure that nothing is going to be in the way. See, I've got this little thing there. I want to make sure I got nothing in the way. I don't want it up over that, because then the back of the smoke alarm is not going to slide on there. So I can't go above that little nib. So see, I can use this. I can let it extend over after I put this screw on and flip it over, and then I can just shimmy that screw up with the washer on there. So I'll hold the washer there, and I'll cut this side off after I flatten it off, and make that my washer, okay? And that will hold it. How about that? All right, so I'm gonna do that and get ready to get this back up there.